Located in Longview, Texas, sits a building with an active history. This historic landmark, known as the Everett Building, is now host to the Gregg County Historical Museum. Within its walls resides disturbed artifacts, items stained with the death of infamous gang members, and voices desperate to talk. We darkened the lights on these exhibits and took a self-guided tour down its eerie halls. Unknown to the paranormal world, we couldn't fathom just how desperate these entities were until we were deep within their grasps. Welcome to Everything Vaguely Paranormal. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome back to Everything Vaguely Paranormal. We have episode 5 here. I am Blake Smith, and as always, my partners in crime in the paranormal, Miss Shelley Pruitt and Mr. Ryan Roberts. And y'all, have we got one for y'all tonight?
Mm-hmm. Oh, hell yes.
We've still got a little bit of the giggles from the pre-broadcast that we were doing. That's going to be interesting. Y'all can go.
You know what? You know somebody when they're watching that pre-broadcast that their wife is going to walk by and go, "You paid for that?"
You ain't shitting for real.
You're going to have to watch it to go find out what we're talking about. Yeah,
it's hilarious. But so this week we're going to bring to y'all a lesser known haunt. I don't even know. I don't even think it's unknown haunt. It is not known.
It's untapped.
Absolutely. But
we are the first professional team of investigators ever allowed in there. Professional team.
Yes, for a full scale, all equipment, everything. It is located in Longview, Texas, which is my hometown. It's the Gregg County Historical Museum in downtown. And I just happened to get this little birdie that said, "Hey, you need to call this lady." And 3 months later, we're in. And boy, it did not disappoint.
Man, it delivered on every level possible.
Not one little bit did it disappoint. So before we jump into the actual investigation, give you a little bit brief history of this building and the area that it resides in. So the building itself, and I've got a couple of pictures that I'm going to sit here and show y'all as well. So the building itself is, like I said, situated in downtown Longview. And where it sits used to be, now there is a map that was at one point in the museum. The map has since been lost, but it sits on what used to be a large cemetery located in downtown. Now, this coincides with some of the stories that I was told about when they were building different basements down there for the building, stuff like that. They would run into coffins that they would unearth down there.
Well, that makes me nervous.
Yeah, that
explains a lot.
Yeah,
that's a recipe.
Yeah. So, anyways, this building itself, the brick portion of it, or the brick facade, was built in 1910. But before that, there was a location there that it used to be a bank. Now, this location was one of the last stops for the Dalton gang. That they had a robbery there.
Ryan, outlaws, one of your favorite subjects.
Oh, I love it.
Exactly. I knew, that's why I had
Tell
to
me
get
a
you there. Once upon a time. But anyway, so there was a robbery there by the Dalton gang. It went haywire. It went stupid. It went crazy. There was a big old shootout. One of the gang members died. And the gun that was used in the shootout is in the museum, which y'all both saw that. It is located in the bank vault on display, which was really weird because my equipment wasn't doing anything in that bank vault except right in front of that gun. That's it. That's where I was only getting readings from. So move forward from that. I mean, yes, it was a bank. It's held dentist's office, lawyer's office upstairs. It had a barbershop downstairs. It actually sat vacant, I believe, for close to 20 years between the years of 1960 and 1979. And then Ann Lohman, I believe, or it might be Ann. There's two Anns. One of the Anns purchased the building and donated it to the Historical Society.
Let's roll with that.
Yeah, one of the Anns. That's what we're going to go with. I don't want to tell the story wrong. One of the Anns donated it to the Historical Society, which now holds the Gregg County Historical Museum. So, for those of y'all who don't know, also inside this museum, they have a coffin to go along with the gun. So, it's one of these locations that a lot of stuff is shrouded in death and like these kind of negative aspects of, people passing and people being shot. So a lot of energy pent up within these walls. It does have 3 levels. It has the main floor, which holds a bunch of different artifacts from local people.
From the oil field, from
the
military, from the local history. It's got some amazing things in it.
Trains.
Now the trains. And again, why did we not go investigate that train room?
Because
why did we not go in there? I think everything else was going on so much that we just never made it back there. We kind of ran out of time.
Yeah, we had so much happening that, excuse me, my dinner's trying to talk. Anyways, I think that we just had so much happening that subconsciously we just. I'm sorry, y'all. We had a burping contest where we came live on the air, so we're just going to leave it at that. So, anyways, moving on. Yes, and then downstairs in the basement, and Shelly's lost.
Shelly's losing it.
Yeah, exactly. So downstairs in the basement, you go down these creepy stairs. In my opinion, I'm sorry, they are creepy.
They are creepy,
and it gets heavy the moment you step foot on the first step.
Oh, absolutely.
And down in there, they have their very own log cabin that's built down into the basement. That was actually made from, I believe, from what I was told, wood that was from a local building as well. So it held whatever it held, and now they've moved it down into the bottom and the basement down here. It also has a military room with military artifacts in there. And also down there, it's got a Native American exhibit, which if anybody is in the paranormal world, Native American artifacts hold a lot of energy in and of themselves.
A lot of spiritual energy.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And so then, should we talk about the creepy ass mannequin?
I like him.
Oh, yeah.
He creeps me out. I kept seeing his head and hands moving throughout the night.
Okay, in all fairness, at one point I thought that I saw his chin tilt just slightly. And I thought, you know what? It's dark in here. I probably didn't see anything. And I was just going to roll with that because I thought, you know how I feel about dolls. And that's a big ass doll. And I'm like, oh, no. He starts moving and I'm throwing Ryan at him.
Well, he's lurking around that pole too, just kind of
exactly.
So.
He's a little creepy. And then they also have an upstairs location, which there is one office up there. The rest is basically storage. Some of it's finished, some of it is not. So we got to walk around up there and investigate up there. So that's a little bit about that building. So y'all, I mean, from arrival time, it was just the feeling inside of there. We walked around, we arrived, we got shown by the director of the museum, different all kinds of places. We did our initial walk through and took our basic, our EMF readings of the baseline just to make sure that, should we run into anything later? And boy, we
were running flat zeros on our baseline. Every now and then we get like a point, 0.01 spike, very small, very
Yeah.
nominal, and that could be just simply, you run past a light, electrical outlet or something like that, and that's a normal place for it to go up a little bit.
Mhm.
But for the most part, I was walking around with the millimeter, taking baseline readings, and we were pretty much staying at 0. So that alone makes what happened later very interesting.
Not what happened later. What happened like very
Immediately.
quick.
Yeah, very, very quickly. Things kicked off.
I mean, there wasn't
quite
anything
fast.
later to it.
And it kind of happened to me. Shocked.
Yeah. So we go through, we get our equipment set up and all of that stuff. And let's roll with the very first thing that happened.
Let's roll with it.
Just right off the bat. So our equipment is set up in the basement. We put a static camera up there. Shelly, Gypsy, and Paula all head down, and this is what transpires.
What the? You okay? Is that knock? I heard a knock. I did hear a knock. I heard a knock. It was open. It was not Gypsy, because that's why she said, "What the fuck?"
Sorry, Paula, to put that last little part in there, but
Yeah, because that's why Shelley said, "What the?" Yeah.
yeah. Three knocks right off the bat.
Yeah,
Tap, tap.
quick session.
I
Hang
heard
on.
them. I actually thought that Gypsy or Paula had done them. And whenever I heard Gypsy going, "What was that?" and Paula goes, "No, I heard a knock." And then we knew Paula didn't do it. Then so I was like, "What the beep?"
Yeah. And so this was all taking place while me and Ryan were upstairs setting up the other camera.
So
And then
three of the girls alone by ourselves in the basement. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
what did you just say?
3 of the girls.
Oh. Shelly, you just said it.
You just said what we're not supposed to say, Shelly.
I know.
Come on
My
now.
apologies.
Come on now. So and Stacy's on the main floor. So we've got somebody on every single floor, and this is happening down there. And you can clearly hear in the video that they are from that level. It is not coming from anything else. And so then after that, me and Ryan joined back down, and Stacy, me and Ryan converge on the stairs. And this is shortly after what transpires.
Nobody knocked? Oh, somebody knocked. We just don't know who it was.
We just moved that cabinet upstairs. I heard that.
No, this was like a like that.
What the fuck?
Like Shelly, like this, do, and then boom. It's like you got a response.
What can I say? They love me. I don't know.
So that's how the.
What the
Are you
hell?
kidding me? I heard that. What was that?
Don't know, but it came from over here where I'm supposed to sleep. My son and his wife are in their room. They leave the living room and go in their room so they don't and watch TV in their room. So they
Wait. We got to replay that video because that sounded exactly like we just. Hold on. We're gonna replay that last video real fast.
Nobody knocked? Oh, somebody knocked. We just don't know who it was.
We just moved that cabinet upstairs. I heard that.
No, this was like that.
That's almost exactly what I just heard from your
Yeah.
side, Shelly. What the hell?
there is nobody in this room with me, and it sounded like it came from right over in the corner.
That's
And
so
that leads
weird.
to an outside wall, and he's on the second floor. Moving on.
Moving on.
Well, I was gonna say,
Right.
I could tell you as soon as you, like you were saying, as soon as you went down the stairs into that basement, when you crossed that threshold, so heavy because Gypsy at
God.
one point when
Yeah.
we were setting up, before we set up the cameras, Gypsy was looking downstairs and she goes, "Nope, nope, nope, fuck this," and runs back up the steps. And I said, "What's going on?" She said, "I just saw like a black mass move down at the bottom of the stairs." I said, "Well, I'll go downstairs with you." And so I walked downstairs with her, and I usually like I said, whenever we talk about things like this, we say when places are active, you have that feeling, you can feel it that they are active. But this time when I went downstairs, and I've never gotten this before, it just felt like a whole lot of pressure on my chest, like something was like pushing down on my chest.
Yeah.
It was just really
Y'all
strange.
remember that comes into play again later.
Yeah, because when you actually said that on the phone call and you were like, I felt this pressure on my chest, I was like, wait, what?
No, I actually,
You would.
Ryan, I think I had followed you guys downstairs.
Shelley
because
was down there.
I recall you
Mhm.
saying it feels like it's right here because that's when you and I kept walking up in the log cabin and you actually backed out and said, I feel like there's this pressure on my chest.
Mm-hmm. And it was
whatever
weird.
whatever was in the log cabin didn't want Ryan in there. It would
No.
light up the pear light for me every time Ryan would step out.
As
but
soon as I'd step out and walk around the corner, Shelley would start getting activity. And when I came back around and stepped back up, it would just completely die.
didn't want
Yeah.
Ryan in there.
It was so weird.
And for me, it really was. It was something about that log cabin, and then something about the Native American or the Caddo exhibit back at the back. Those are the two areas that I was primarily focused on, because the feelings that I was getting, I didn't even really want to walk past the opening to the log cabin. It just felt like if I did, something was there. Did my camera just move? All right, y'all. I could have swore I saw me.
Man.
I could have swore I saw me glitch on my side. Could have been my eyes playing tricks on me. All right.
Well,
So
speaking of
anyways.
that, a couple of people in two of our lives have been experiencing very interesting activity in the past 48 hours.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that's interesting. We ain't been invited back to their house no more.
Ooh, you know what? Paula just made a really good assumption. She said, "Isn't the log cabin almost directly under the bank vault?"
I believe you're right.
Yes.
As far as the placement, yeah, absolutely.
I believe, yes, she's
Yeah,
exactly
it's-
correct.
mhm.
Very close. If it's not directly underneath it, it is extremely close.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Thank you, Paula. Wow. Yeah,
So-
even Stacy said it is.
So Ryan feels this pressure on his chest, and
Mhm.
like everybody is coming down there, and that's when we get our first millimeter reading. Correct,
Mhm.
right in
Right
there.
right outside the log cabin.
May I ask you again, can you come over here and sit by me? Another spike? Thank you. You did really well. Oh my God, I just got a 10 spike. Thank you. Are you coming over here to sit by me? I appreciate that. Is it?
Yeah. And that was
'Cause-
actually, I think that was actually just slightly before it, because I think I heard us setting up the
Mhm.
camera in the background.
Yeah, because I
Uh,
sat down directly across the door from log cabin. And I believe at that point almost everybody had come downstairs to try to,
Mhm.
figure out what was going on down there. And I just, for some reason, I sat down and said log cabin. I'm like, can you come sit by me? And ring. I'm like, whoa, okay. Didn't know you're gonna be that quick, Sly. Okay.
And on command too. Like,
Mhm.
so, and
I
that's
said, "You
another
wanna sit by
thing.
me? Ding.
That's
And that-
another thing that I'll show back up.
And that's a large jump in energy too, going from a 0.0 to a 0.2 all the way up to a 10.
Mhm.
That's a pretty
it-
big
it-
increase.
It hit the 4 first, so it went from
Mhm.
0 to, I think it said
I
4.1
think
on
it's
there.
0 to
Mhm.
4 to 10 to 2 to nothing,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
10 to nothing. I don't remember. Yeah, go figure.
Yeah.
But it had much more in store for us than just that. That was all the warm up. That was all
yeah,
pre-show.
absolutely. Without a
That
doubt.
was pre-show.
Yeah. That was like this. We're the opening act. That's what
Yes.
it was.
And at this point, we are already impressed because we haven't even been in there 2 hours, and we've had knocks in response. We've had K2 meter spike. We've had paralight spikes, and we've had millimeter spikes within the first 2 hours.
Yeah.
Now, to say that we were like, "Oh, this could be a really good place," we didn't have any idea.
Mm-mm. Matter of fact, I think we went into it almost assuming that it might have been like about a 1 on a 1 to 5. You
I
know?
usually walk into a place I don't know, expecting nothing.
Yeah.
And boy, did I get surprised.
Oh yeah. So after all that, we finally decided the great debate of the night ensues of where the hell to eat for dinner, and
Everybody kind of got hungry. We do that.
and yeah, we settled on one of those fast food Mexican restaurants that we won't name on this. But anyway, so me, Gypsy, Paula, and Ryan, we all decided that we're gonna load up, we're gonna go get dinner for everybody, and we're gonna leave Stacy and Shelly alone by themselves.
We
'Cause we had-
requested that. They didn't
Yeah,
teach
they
us. We
wanted to.
requested that.
Yeah, they definitely wanted to, and it also would help having somebody there with our equipment in case something crazy happened. But yes, they very well volunteered for it. So while we were gone, Shelly, tell me at the beginning, like right after we left, did anything change? Did it flip? Did it?
Well, whenever it initially started off, at one point, I actually thought because that little door has got a little doorbell, bing bong, so if somebody comes in and you're at the back, you know that somebody's entered. Well, see, I thought I'd heard it go off, and I thought, okay, all right, well they've left, and I'm going to pick up equipment to kind of start setting stuff out. And Stacy's near the bank vault in that area, kind of looking around in there, and I thought I hear bing bong again, and I'm thinking, well, that door lock's behind him. I guess I didn't go up, but now I didn't say anything, so I thought maybe not everybody had gone out. But that was weird because at that time y'all should have already been in the car and gone.
Yeah.
That little bing bong comes in, and one of the I don't believe I sent you this clip, in that longer one that we cut up of when we were there by ourselves, there's actually a bing bong you can hear like somebody's come in. We'll load it all for you because I caught that just later this afternoon. But when we kind of started setting things up, we put out everything, we started giving invitations. We said, we have all these cool toys. If you would like to come and play with anything, you're welcome to play with it. And we kind of decided that we would walk around just a little bit. And Stacy was very interested in that upper area by the vault, that front area. And
Yes.
for whatever reason, I had no interest in that front area. I couldn't wait to get upstairs. But we were in the front area, so I walk up there. I'm like, let's see what we can get. And you wanna play that clip as to kind of what we got initially?
Yeah, kind of setting it up though. Like y'all had seen something with your eyes, it wasn't caught on camera. Something had blacked out a portion of the ceiling. That's what Stacy had seen.
Yes.
And so you're in the midst of trying to figure this out when
Right.
this next portion is caught. I'm not really going to even tell our viewers what it is. I want to see if they can kind of pick up on it, and we'll play it a couple of times if we need to. But this is what took place during that time.
A black shadow
Did you have your camera running?
just went up like that.
I'll play it one more time.
It
so
was
that's really-
faint.
it is a little bit faint. So and I will give you an idea. It's towards the end.
A black shadow
Did you have your camera running?
just went up like that.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
I did hear that. Mm-hmm.
The very
Right after
end.
I said camera running, and something goes. Not that. I mean, wasn't that scary? Sorry, I just snorted on accident. I apologize.
But yes, it draws in and then releases, and it has a rattle to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we did not hear this. And actually at the beginning of that clip, which again, I cut it short when I sent it to you. When I swing my camera around, right as Stacy says, I saw something dark on the ceiling. Did you see the shadow on the ceiling? I swung my camera around, and it literally looks like something kind of goes through and breaks that light. It was so fast. Again, where I cut it, I actually missed cutting into the clip.
Yeah.
But we'll post all that. So we stand there. Now we're trying to debunk this. And she asked something to the effect of, do you hear that? Do you hear that walking? And I'm like, no, but wait a minute, let me go stand on carpet. So I went and stood on the carpet. And can you actually hear this one in this clip?
They are faint as well. Now I have upped the volume on most of these, the highest that I possibly can. So from the original volume to what's being played, I have it at 400%. But when you post, or since they're posted now on our YouTube channel, you can go back and you can go loop over and over in this area. So yes, this next one is right behind you when you're standing on the carpet, because y'all are starting to ask a lot of questions about knocks, about noises, about all that stuff. So you didn't want to
We didn't leave it. We tried to keep giving it energy. Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't want to give into anything like wood creaking or the floor settling or anything under y'all's weight, because it is hardwood floors through there.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a very old building. You have to listen real closely.
Yeah, and so she's standing on the carpet, as she said, and then this is why, and I'll play this one a couple of times if we need to too.
That was behind you.
Huh?
Did you hear that? Behind you.
Well, I turned around. I thought I heard something. That's why I was trying to.
I did.
Now it's within the first couple of seconds.
Well,
of that
but
clip.
even then, even after I turned my camera, you can still hear click, 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 click. You can still hear that. And actually, I didn't pick that up the first time. I heard him click, 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 click down the hall. And then she says, I thought that was behind you. Well, I thought it was in front of me. That's why I whipped the camera, because I couldn't tell at that point where they were coming from. But that's what I love about being in this, just me and Stacy. Because if one of us hears something, the other one pauses. We're like, I'll go check.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See her shot.
Yeah.
Like if-
y'all
like-
get after it for sure.
I mean, you don't have to wait for one of us to ask whoever's at the moment holding the equipment. The other goes charging in and go, "What was that?" We don't have any problem with just like, I don't know what it is. We're here by ourselves. Let's go find some spookies.
So one of our viewers said, "I've got a mix amp on my headset, turned it up, and you can clearly hear it."
oh wow.
Oh, good.
So,
I'm glad
yeah.
you could hear it.
So I'll play it one more time. Just it's going to be in the beginning of this, within the first, I think 3 to 5 seconds, somewhere in there. But I can give the signal since y'all can see my screen on, do like that. So.
That was behind you.
Huh?
Did you hear that? Behind you.
Well, I turned around. I thought I heard something. That's why I was trying to.
I did.
Man,
I
you
did,
can hear
and
it.
off she goes.
That's what I love, Stacy. I did. Let me just go get it real quick.
So, because we were getting things moving around us, and I'm not sure exactly how long y'all have been gone at this point. You've been gone long enough that we have kind of walked around the top area. We've set up all the K2 meters and the motion balls. And what's funny is what you don't see is, but prior to that, we'd set a motion ball on the table. Now that thing had not gone off at all, but we were standing in one corner. We noticed the motion ball was going off. The second we acknowledged it, it stopped. And we'd turn around to do something else and it'd start lighting up. And we're like, okay, so you don't want us to acknowledge you, but we're telling you we can see you. So if you want to talk, you can. And it kept lighting up, lighting up, lighting up. And then we said, oh, good. Then we started asking questions and it would not do anything else. So what we decided was, since we had the toys there, we were like, I wonder what happens if we leave this building empty, tell them we're going outside and they can play with whatever we want. But I left my camera running and she left her camera running. And I put the millimeter that we had just gotten spikes on earlier to up to a 10. I put that at the top of the stairs because I thought, oh, well, I think in the long video, I say, oh, well, I don't want whatever's coming up these stairs to feel like they don't have a toy to play with. And I set it right at the top of those stairs. So we walk out of the building and.
Well, prior to that, though, you remember there's one that I heard that you didn't catch. And it is the little kid whispering to you when you're sitting there talking. Yeah. So I will play that. You're overlapping it just a little bit, and then I'll roll right into what happens very shortly after this is captured.
It's okay if you want to come in here.
Yes, please come in here.
We'd like to talk to you in here.
It's right there.
Very quick.
Very it's right quick. Between me and Stacy, between Stacy's last comment and mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's right at the tail end of you, and it just goes, "Want to play?" Yeah. And then y'all leave, and this is probably the craziest shit I think I've ever seen.
Hey, we're gonna let you play. We're here. I'm done playing with our toys, okay? We'll see you in just a minute.
Man, that is insane. I've never seen anything like that. And that takes an immense amount of energy to make those readings come up on that millimeter.
Yes, it does. And there was nothing right there. There's nothing that
was the top of the staircase.
Yeah.
And pulled back from where you began to walk down it. It was almost as far to the center of that as it could be.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're talking about from nothing to 138 or 80.5 even. That was the first number. Then to 138. That's like Ryan said, that's a
it reset itself and then it spiked.
Yes.
You know, and I kind of want to bring it back to what you were talking about, how it seemed like whenever you would acknowledge it at first, like it just didn't want to interact. And I think that maybe because these spirits have never really had someone come in there with equipment to speak to them, they were trying to kind of figure out how to work everything. And as the night went on, and as we were there longer, they started to
figured
figure
it
out how to
out.
work it.
Oh, yeah,
You
they
know.
really figured it out.
And so,
And
Oh
again,
my.
this is all
Yeah.
before we really started the investigation. This is because we technically started the investigation, started after everybody ate. This and see, you guys still weren't back. And Stacy and I, we were standing outside. We're like, should we go in yet? Should we go in yet? Okay, now let's wait a few more minutes.
I'm so glad y'all didn't, though. I'm so glad y'all didn't, and like interrupted that moment. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
We were just standing there going, should we go in? Should we? Yeah. We're like, we better go in. We don't want them to think we're standing here because we're scared. Let's get our butts back in there. And then we go. We're like, we'll close this door. They're going to have to, you know. And we got tracking back in there. And of course, we don't immediately review it. We pick it up. We look to see if anything's different. And actually, right about the time that I pick up my phone, I can't remember who texted who to say y'all were back. But I picked up my phone and I'm starting to walk away from it. And I turn around. I said, oh, I guess I better pick this up when everybody comes in so that, you know, they don't fall over it because it's kind of in a walkway. And as I turned around and looked, it was actually spiking again. And it's on the floor and I'm standing up and I'm like, oh, and it went back to zero. I went, better go look at this. Yeah.
and that was the weirdest thing to me. Like you said, this is before we even really got started. And the weirdest part to me is already anytime it's acknowledged, it went away. It was like, oh, I'm gonna play with it. Oh, this is really cool. And then we're like, holy shit. And it's like, I'm out. You know, like, I mean, that was basically it.
Do you think there's any chance that maybe we actually scared them by going, I can see you, or I know you're here? And they're like, wait a minute.
possibly, I think you're onto something with that. Honestly,
it could be a good theory. You know, I mean, it's always been something in the back of my mind. Like when you go into, especially an undocumented or an untapped location or anything like that, you know, it is all kind of new to them. And then whenever you're bringing in these pieces of equipment and they go to touch it and everybody reacts.
What is that knocking?
I'm saying, did y'all just knock?
I did not knock, and it was not on my end. I heard knock.
I heard two knocks.
That was not from my side. I heard that from one of y'all.
I think it might have been from Blake's end, to be completely honest.
What the hell is going on tonight, you guys? We're gonna have to roll on through with this in case some kind of poltergeist something runs Blake out of nerve central. Deep breath. We know Blake's the only one here by himself.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you, but man,
I heard that too,
the fuck
and I
up.
didn't know where it came from. Oh yeah, you better get that holy water out. You better just go ahead and bathe in that crap tonight. So okay, so yeah, there you go.
You take a shot.
Yeah, there you go.
I think I'm playing. Y'all, that was loud. If y'all will excuse me for 1 second, because I am downtown Longview. Y'all two, I know I have the controls, but y'all two keep conversing just real quick. I just have to look around the corner.
Yeah, go around the corner.
Okay.
Scream if you need us.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, how crazy is that? We're sitting here talking about getting knocks, and like you on your end have gotten two, and Blake on his end have gotten a couple.
I think it's your turn.
Don't say that.
Oh, hold on. I can't hear y'all. Let's record.
Shh, don't be quiet.
No idea.
Yeah.
Can't explain it. I'm gonna leave one earphone off though.
You should
Okay.
go ahead and put them both on, just so you don't.
I mean,
you don't want to hear that.
You're locked
Yeah,
in
that's
there, right? Like you got doors locked and everything.
I've got a double lock on the back door that I can visually see, and I've got two doors up front. They got to get through two doors to be able. However, they all. Never mind. I'm not going to say that because we are recording. Anyways, so yeah.
Moving on.
Getting on through.
So everybody gets back.
Everybody gets back. We eat. Having a good time eating all that stuff, and then we're like, you know what? Let's start. Let's get into it. Thanks, Paula. Sorry, Paula just commented. Let me know. I can reach you about 3.5 hours. Appreciate that, girl.
It'll take me about 5, but I can try.
Yeah,
I
right.
can be there in 2.5.
Yeah, right. Well, I've got a brother who's watching who is right down the road. So, anyways, he could be here within 10, 15 minutes. So, although he has no idea where I'm at. What the address is. So, anyways, so we go like Shay was saying, we eat. all that has happened while we were gone, not even realizing what was going on. We walk into it. So from our perspective, we walk in and Shelly and Stacy are like, holy shit, y'all. Like shit's happening, shit's going down, like blah, blah, blah. So we're like, okay, let's eat, let's get to it. And one of the first things, we were all drawn to that common room, that middle room for some reason, which we didn't even think was going to deliver anything.
That it was my thought. I thought I got to get to another room. This room isn't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong.
Sorry. I thought I heard something. Now I'm all like on pins and needles now all of a sudden. But anyways, and so we start investigating that room. And now we have kind of set the scene for you. When we start investigating that room, we have 3 K2 meters on a display case, kind of within range of each other, a couple of feet apart. We have a paralight on a table and a flashlight, a motion ball and a flashlight. And I understand to some, I'll go ahead and make a disclaimer. Flashlight method may be a little controversial. I get it. But with what we were doing in this moment, it seemed very relevant with what we were getting. Oh, yeah. And we started asking these questions. And I'm just going to kind of roll the film because, yeah, this, let's just say something happened that had never happened to us on any investigation. I don't think to any of us. So.
This door is fucking opening.
Why?
This door is fucking opening.
There's no reason that should open.
I closed that door just opened.
You closed it all the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
That door just opened.
Can you push that door back closed for me, please? We really want to cut the light out.
I did not touch that. I have not
And the
moved.
paralight stopped.
Did you just leave the room?
What the?
Can you come back in and close this door for me,
That
please?
paralight's doing nothing now.
No.
Now there it goes
Okay,
again.
it goes blue.
Did you just leave the room? Or did someone just come in?
Did you open that door? That was you?
I did not move. Gypsy can verify. I did not move.
That door's been shut.
Close that door for me, please. Thank you.
Thank
Oh
you.
my God.
So much. That was amazing. Now, very quickly, Ryan, swing it around. We are all accounted for, correct?
Look, we're
Look, turn the light on.
all accounted
We are all
for.
accounted
Shelly,
for. I'm here.
Gypsy, Ryan,
All here.
Stacy,
We are all
Paula.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, very
Me.
quickly, Blake, come in.
I'm
Explain
sorry. What the? Oh my God.
People
And it's funny
wait
because
years to catch something like that.
I was standing behind it, and in a clip that we didn't show you is that we actually were doing something with the flashlight up on the table, and it's completely dark in there, and I hear, and you see my shadow being cast up on the wall, and that's when I was like, y'all, that door's effing opening. That door is opening. Somebody turn around and look. You know, it's like turn around here and look. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
opened
So-
and closed.
Yeah.
Open and
on its
closed.
own.
And that's the thing. So we went through, and the whole video is on our YouTube channel of us leading into that, of the door opening, and then us debunking it or attempting to debunk it. We didn't debunk it, attempting to debunk it. We opened the door back to where it was. Everybody stood in the same place. It didn't happen.
Blake and I
We-
stood on the opposite side of the door, and everybody else stood on the inside, on the side that it had opened and then closed back towards. But we stood on the opposite side to see if there were any drafts, to see if there was anything like that. And we put that door almost exactly where it was, and we said, "Can you close that door, please?" And that door starts to move, and I went, "Good job," and it stopped immediately.
And actually, that's what I was just about, because we set everything back up. Now, me and Shelly are on the other side. Everybody else in the team is still where
the
we
common
were.
room.
Yeah, and we're attempting to debunk at this point.
Are you okay?
Thank you. There it goes.
There it
Close
goes.
the door.
There it
Thank
goes.
you. You're doing good. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. Good job.
It's going off.
So you see it ever so slightly just start to close again. And then Shelly, you had to
I blew
acknowledge
it. I blew it. It's all my fault.
There's
I was
no
just-
draft. There's no air
There
moving.
wasn't.
No.
I mean, there is that door's not loose. And Stacy had latched that door when she closed
She
it
had
before it
pulled
even
it
opened.
completely closed.
Yeah.
Did you just hear another knock?
I heard
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. They're not. Yeah. Okay.
All
All
you
right.
better
So,
just put
anyways,
both those earphones on and just be done with it. Just
I can
ignore it.
hear them through the earphones.
We'll
But anyways,
we'll not say anything if it happens again.
We
so
won't
you-
acknowledge it any further, so therefore it can stop.
but anyways, so that whole entire video is on our YouTube channel. 45 minutes long of us attempting to debunk this door moving on its own.
And being unable to do it, because if it was on a slant or unlevel or anything like that, wherever we put it, it would automatically want to go back to. And we put it actually a little farther open than what it was, and then we put it a little closer, and then we put it a little farther open, and it never more than just after it settled, it never did anything after that. Never moved again. That door didn't. However, in an attempt to see if we could get it to play while we were gone, we closed that door all the way. We decided we'd go outside and leave the building to itself. Now, do you have?
We left that door open.
No, we actually closed them both. We closed that one, and then we closed the one between the common room and the hallway.
No. We the one that opened on its own, we left it open because I have the video.
Okay.
I have
We
the
did.
video of my phone sitting on the other side because we left my phone in there.
That's right, in
record.
case it wanted to close the door again.
And we all walked through and closed that middle door in between that middle room to the outside hallway. And I actually did not get that video from Paula in enough time of us walking back in.
So here's what happened. So we walk out of the common room, we close the door, and boy, we give it a good yank. It gets a boom, we know it's good and close. And then we all head outside, and we're all standing outside. Now, in order to get in and out, because there was not a spare key, we had to leave the door propped slightly. We had already left this door propped probably 10 or 12 times while we were outside so that we could get back in. As we're standing out there, we're talking, we're going, oh my God, we can't believe this happened. That's so cool. The outside door goes and swings wide open.
On its own, wide ass open.
All the way open as if, hey, where'd you go? Come back here. And now we're flipping out and we're going, okay. And I'll tell you, that door did not do that again the rest of the night. Not another time that whole night. And we probably went out 10 or 12 more times, propped it open the exact same way we had done every single time, and it never did it again. So then we're like, I can't stand it. Let's go back inside. Because what we were hoping would happen was that the door between the common room and the hallway would have been opened. So Paula's leading us because Paula's going to lead us. We're like, okay. I'm like, Paula, if you lead, you got to run that camera. So Paula's running the camera, and we get up to that door, and I'll be damned. That room between the common room, the door is open.
And not a lot either. It was only about
that wide.
But
open.
open nonetheless. Something
was
had
open,
to turn the
and we
knob
had-
and open that door.
We had pulled it and pushed it to make sure that it was latched.
Yeah.
Now, something was like, hey, wait, where'd you go? I'm coming with you. Oh, no, the hell you're not. We taking a break from you.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
That was that was the craziest damn thing I think I've ever seen.
So that
with
was
my
pretty
own
wild.
eyes.
Not only did it go through and then come back and close the door, it had to have followed us out and then came out the front door. I think it just liked us.
I think it was having fun with us.
It was having fun with us.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not through talking. Come back here.
You're like, excuse me, rude. You just walked out. I guess I'll just come out here with you.
So we go back inside. Excuse me. And we decide, okay, it's time for us to break out our favorite experiment. Everybody's going to think that this is all that we do, but it's really not. I promise. We just
what? If it works, it works.
It works. Yeah. It works exactly, and it works pretty good. So we decided to jump into the Estes method at that point. And I was the first one that went into the experiment, and we got some pretty good, interesting things going on. So I'm just going to play probably a couple of these. I'll play the first one. Explain the second one.
Nadia?
Is your name Nadia the little girl's name?
In person.
If your name's Nadia, can you confirm by turning on the flashlight, please?
I have a question.
What's your question?
Hi, Nadia.
Thank you for the confirmation.
So what you're not hearing before that, because I totally screwed up and forgot to put it in there, was where they were asking for the little girl's name. That was the question right before. What's the little girl's name? And there was a long pause, and I just out of nowhere go, Nadia. I don't know Nadia. What? I don't know who Nadia is. It was just the name that was said in my ears, and so therefore that's
what you
I said
said.
out loud. And then Shelly, you ask in that video, can you confirm with turning on the flashlight if your name is Nadia? And it takes it a minute, but it pops it on. So little backstory before we play this next one. In this location, as we were talking about digging up basements and all of that kind of stuff, there's something that they have at this location that, again, they were digging a basement, and the crew hit something and broke into it on the side, and this is what they hit.
Mm-hmm.
And on the side that I'm sitting on in that photo, sorry, I just threw my mouse across this desk. In the photo on the side that I'm sitting on, there's a hole where the backhoe actually broke into it. Now, when they unearthed this coffin, obviously it was occupied, and they since removed the remains out of the coffin, reburied it in the local cemetery here, and the museum has held on to the coffin ever since.
And for those who are listening, it is a cast iron coffin with a glass, like with a window where you can look into it and see the body laying in the coffin.
Yep. And it's what they call a toe pincher because it's wide enough just for the shoulders, and then it goes down to y'all. I mean, I don't even think that thing is. I think it's maybe 6 inches across down to the bottom, something like that.
Tiny.
Yeah. So this coffin, whenever the archaeology team took part of the bone and was trying to date the coffin or took the DNA samples, whatever, they did find out that in fact it was a little girl around the age of 6. That's all that it was. So that leads us to this portion of my essay. Son of a bitch.
We're still wanting to speak with the little girl that I do believe her name was Nadia.
The coffin. I just got the coffin.
Oh, wow.
If the coffin is correct, can you please give him clarification and confirmation by lighting on the flashlight? Can you turn on the flashlight if it has? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's weird. And it wasn't a little girl. It was a guy that came through and he just goes, the coffin. Like that was it. But right at that point that Stacy's saying, we would really like to talk to the little girl. And I just go, the coffin. And it was a guy that said it. That to me was the weirdest thing. Yo, I'm going to make it through this episode. I promise.
We aren't acknowledging anymore.
No.
So anyways, getting to the rest of that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Well, and the thing is about that coffin too is we ended up asking the museum operator, we're like, hey, is there any record of who this could have been? Is there any record of who this little girl was? And they said no, they don't know who she is. They don't know who she was. There's no record of anybody being buried there until they hit the coffin. Whoever she was, though, they had to be kind of well-to-do in order to afford a cast iron coffin like that. Because back in the day, it was nothing but a pine box they threw you in the ground in.
Absolutely, because they dated it back to 1870s. Is what they dated it to. So,
yeah. So I actually got a little bit irritated with you two concerning the coffin.
You did.
We had gone upstairs, and for the reason we went through on the first walkthrough, I got transfixed on this child's coffin, and I kept standing there. And Stacy came over and stood there, and she's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't want to leave it. I don't want to leave this coffin. It's like, this is really upsetting me. I don't want this coffin here. I don't want it left here. This isn't where it belongs." Anyway, so I pulled myself together and we got downstairs. They come downstairs after they've gone to set up the cameras upstairs. And they came in, they go, "We moved the coffin." And I went, "Why?"
Yeah.
I mean, and it actually startled me, my reaction to it. I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, that really upsets me. Why didn't they were like, and they go, "We didn't move it far. We just kind of moved it in the hallway."
Yeah, just to the center of the hallway. We didn't move it.
I'm
very
like,
far.
"Why did you move it?" I mean, that it actually upset me. I'm like, "Why did you move it?" It really bothered me that it had been disturbed again. And I don't know why I reacted like that, but it's something. Again, I have this little connection with like Betsy and with like Lois Higgs at Waverly Hills, and this mother and
this motherly instinct kicks
and
in.
Mothers who've lost babies.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this is, but it's like that upset me that coffin got moved. And I'm like, you're gonna have to compose yourself. We got a long night to go.
You were visually upset too. I mean, like you were irritated with us, but like I could see it whenever you were like, "Why'd you move?" Like, I mean, you were.
Yeah, I got upset.
That was the thing. And I remember you were visually upset as well. So,
and I was surprised, even though I knew y'all had said you were probably going to move the coffin. I don't know. I guess in my head, I think, nah, it's perfect right there. Just leave it alone. Let it be quiet. Let it be still. And I did. I got upset when you came down and said, oh, yeah, we moved the coffin. I'm like, and I went, why? You know, it was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you better compose yourself, chick. It's going to be a long night, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And so, in continuing on my Estes, now, again, for those of y'all just joining us, what an Estes, or not just joining us, but just this may be the first time hearing of an Estes, we have noise canceling headphones on. We are blindfolded. We're tied to a spirit box through the headphones. And our sole job is to repeat what's being said into our ears while everybody else or a leader of the Estes asks questions in a very low voice.
It's an exercise in channeling.
You can't see visual cues. You can't hear any sort
audible
of
clues.
not audible clues. Like all you can hear is the static in your headphones and whatever decides to come through.
And whatever you hear, you have to listen through the white noise, the static. And sometimes you get radio bleeds and that kind of thing. But if you do this enough, you learn to discern what's a radio bleed and what is actually, because there are some words you can't say on the radio. So if you get the F word, that's not a radio bleed.
Yeah.
You know, so
depending where we go, we get the F word a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And we are not responsible for what the spirits say. We're going to say that right off the bat again before we get to one, because I believe I am the only one that got a curse word on that long.
You were the only, which was very weird for us in our group in a very active location. But anyways, needless to say, this is the next clip. Remember, I am blindfolded in this clip.
Shelly Corner. 2 men. Shelly Corner.
Now, he doesn't know if I would have moved or not.
That's very true.
And it's very likely.
At ease. That was a third man.
Stacey,
At
look
ease.
at the way Stacey's standing. She's standing at ease.
I am.
At ease. And if you, Shelly, shine the flashlight on yourself. Shelly is in a corner, and there's no way he can know that.
Because usually when the Estes method's going on, I stand up and pace.
And what's interesting was whenever you started the Estes method, I was standing up. You can tell from the camera angle that I shot that from, and I was closer to the flashlight.
Yeah.
And I started feeling like I was getting drained, and I was cold. Y'all, I have never been so cold in a location in my life. I was freezing all night long.
You were.
And I was cold. I kept going, y'all, are y'all not cold? I'm going, can we turn on the heater? And like Ryan's sweating and Blake's sweating and Stacey's got on short sleeves and Gypsy's got on short sleeves. And I got on a dang coat. And I'm like, y'all, I am cold. And I was so cold that I went to sit back in that corner because I felt like I was just having all the energy sucked out of me. And then he goes, Shelly Corner. That was not where I was whenever this started.
No.
Mm-mm. Yeah. And then how would I know how Stacey's standing?
And Stacey was standing at ease, military style at ease, hands behind your back, feet apart, and basically a parade rest stance.
Yeah. And then, but there's more. Hold on.
They don't want to talk to me.
Is there anyone you do want to speak to?
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure they said Ryan, but it could have been Run, but I think it's
You
Ryan.
did ask them
I
to.
did. I did. I guess
Ryan. They just go Ryan.
I guess I'm going next.
So you would like to speak to Ryan, is that correct?
He's your bud.
He is my bud, thank you. Yes, he is. He is my bud.
And they were those that were talking to me at that moment. They were very jovial, and kind of like Ryan, like doing things like that.
Ryan always gets the nice ones, and we always get the ones that
God dang, we always get the ones who want to beat us up and cause
that's
harm.
kill them and whip their ass and that kind of stuff. And
I always
Ryan's
want to cut and stab y'all.
Hey, we're your bud, Ryan.
Exactly. Yeah, he's your bud.
Yeah, he's your bud. We apparently are your arch nemesis. Double words, man.
Yeah, right. Watch them fly away, asshole.
Watch them fly away.
But yeah, they just wanted to talk to me for some reason. They kept, that wasn't the only time they asked for me. Because I remember, I don't know if we caught that on film, but I was like, okay, all of us are standing here. I'm going to get to a name. And whenever I get to a name that you want to speak to, please light up a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And I got through all their names and then I said my name and then the equipment would light up.
Yeah. So I'm going to kind of run these next three kind of real close back to back because in my opinion, after reviewing them, I think they really tie in together. So it's still me on the last one and y'all are trying to figure out who.
The case.
What case?
I don't know. They're talking about a display case or.
Okay.
Okay, can you tell me what case and downstairs or upstairs?
You know.
I know.
We don't. You got to tell us.
The one by your feet.
The one by your feet. Now, what's really interesting in that, what's going to be in two videos, all of our equipment is on a case that is by Gypsy and Stacy's feet. So I get pulled out of the SS method. We put Ryan under. We're trying to figure out one other thing prior to, we're trying to figure out who opened the door. That's basically what it is. This is what we
Can you
get.
give Ryan the name of the person that opened up this door for us earlier?
Christine?
Thank you.
Female?
Strong female. That would make sense.
And she
Direct
was
response.
strong. Direct response. And she was strong. Very strong. I think she was the one that opened the door, and I think she was the one that was yelling at me in my Estes, because she came through just like, I could never make it out.
She didn't take no crap.
No, she didn't. So what was really weird is after he gets Christine and Shelly, you didn't say strong female. This is what transpired. This one's a little bit longer, but this is what transpires. Freaking crazy.
Is that one on the typewriter still holding?
Yeah. Right at, and there it goes. It's going.
Look,
Now
it's
it's gonna
going to
go
orange.
Or orange.
Okay, I'm far enough back that is not my phone that's
And I
affecting
will
that.
show my light. There is nothing over there
Yeah, there's nothing over here.
that would be setting that one off. And it
Okay.
is holding.
And that has, from previous videos, there's been nothing.
Yeah.
Look at that one. That one's.
That one's going steady. Here, let me turn mine on and see if mine goes. And the reason I did, look, that's holding steady. Look at that.
That's
Okay.
going 1.5 to 1.6.
So Ryan's
That's
is
going down.
lighting up too.
Wow.
The temperature's dropping. Is that what you said?
No, the thing
Oh,
is-
we got a spike. 1.4. Take your light off of it. Take your light off.
Get this.
Boom, boom, boom. All three on yellow. And
Well,
they're
I
all in
can't zoom
different-
it in enough to see all three of them, but I can pull it in enough.
I got a
1,
yellow
2,
too.
3.
You got a yellow too?
Okay, I think I got them all three in the frame.
4 on yellow.
4 on yellow. Okay, and we have a spike of 1.5.
Holding to yellow.
What the hell? And it's cold. Like there's a cold breeze coming from that side right there on the right.
Oh, wow. Even mom's holding yellow.
I've
Okay,
never seen that.
What the shit, y'all?
I've only seen that one other time, and it wasn't in a good place.
Yeah.
True.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because the whole night, nothing.
We had we were begging those K2 meters to go off, and they wouldn't do anything. But after it got what it wanted, after Christine got to talk to Ryan, she was happy. Ryan, I think you have a new girlfriend. I think you can quit going on dates.
Yeah.
I think you and Christine got a little something going
Call
on.
me.
there.
But see,
Call
that
me,
was the thing.
Better
Like,
watch out.
No, don't call me.
yeah,
Don't call
don't,
me.
just
Stay where
don't
you
call
are.
me.
I'll come see you.
You need some holy water, right?
But the thing was too is I remember after that happened, because that was right after I came out of my Estes, and y'all told me, y'all were like, hey, these K2 meters just went and started holding it yellow, and then the Paralight started lighting up and holding it blue too, did it not?
Blue. Well, it was going from blue, and then it went up to orange a couple of times. If I'm remembering correctly, I that Paralight. They figured out that they really like to play with that Paralight, so it kind of got to where it's like, okay, you're going to have to step away because we don't know if you're answering or playing.
Yeah, and then so I stepped out of the room. I was like, I said, let me see if this does anything. So I stepped out of the room up into the room where the bank vault was. And as soon as I stepped out of the room, the people who were in the room behind me, I believe it was Paula and Stacy and Gypsy, they said all the K2 meters just went down to the first notch, to the first green, and the Paralight went down to the first notch. They said as soon as you left the room, all that energy just went all the way down.
Yeah.
I can't explain that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is with that.
Yeah. So it was what total? We had like 6 or 7 pieces of equipment.
So you had the 3
Holding.
K2 meters on the display case.
Mhm.
You had the K2 meter on the typewriter. The K2 meter on the typewriter had not done anything all night, not even a blip. It had not moved. And then all of a sudden it's holding at yellow halfway up and holding, not spiking up and then holding.
Yeah.
And the Paralight was answering. The flashlight at some point it actually answered right before Ryan came out. And the Mel meter was spiking.
And then you also had Ryan had a K2 and Stacy had a K2.
That's right.
So that's
So
5, 6,
that's
7,
6 K2s
eight
and, yeah.
pieces. 8 pieces of equipment. And they're not in just one central location where we could probably be like, oh, it might be an outlet, whatever.
They're around the room.
They're completely around the room. I mean, they're
spread
not
out
just-
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not all around one outlet. They're 8-10 feet apart from each other. Most of the items are. It's just freaking weird. I can't explain it.
There were a lot of firsts on this investigation.
There
for sure.
really were.
And a lot of first of evidence that actually was caught because I have seen a door move before. But again, catching that evidence is hard. To
Oh, yeah.
catch it opening and closing.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
We had firsthand experience with that, Shelley, at the Old Park Hotel.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, Ballinger. Yeah,
but did we catch it on camera? No, we did not.
No, we did not.
There, we did.
Yeah, exactly. So after that, we decided, okay, we're gonna take a break. Like we had just done 2 Estes and all that stuff is happening.
And we needed that energy to kind of dissipate a little bit, so it didn't get stronger than us.
Yeah. So we ended up going outside, and then when we came back, we regathered ourselves. We said, you know what? It's time for the 3 of us, me, Shelley, Ryan, to go upstairs, and let's do a little investigating upstairs. And I'm not gonna lie, we did not get as much as I thought we would upstairs. Not as much as we were getting downstairs. We were getting crazy.
You know
shit
what?
Downstairs.
I got enough upstairs.
Well, you did. So when we first get there, we're walking past the casket. I'm just gonna play something and see if people can hear it real quick.
We thought we'd come back by and say hi to you.
I don't think we introduced ourselves up here. We did downstairs.
My name's Shelley.
My name's Blake.
My name's Ryan.
We wanted to come up and say hello to you. That was me.
Is that you? Did you just break?
No.
You heard that?
Yeah.
What'd you hear?
It was like a.
And none of us
I got the chill bumps, man.
and none of us are on video. I was just taking pictures.
Now, before we say anything, we actually were on video because we set up the static IR camera up there. This is the moment as it happened, but we don't hear the exhale. So I'll play this as it happens, and I'll play that EVP again.
We thought we'd come back by and say hi to you.
I don't think we introduced ourselves up here. We did downstairs.
Yeah, my name's Shelley.
My name's Blake.
My name's Ryan.
We wanted to come up and say hello to you. That was me. I hit the wall.
Was that you? Did you break?
No.
You heard that?
Yeah.
What'd you hear?
It was like a.
And none of us
I got the chill bumps, man.
and none of us were on video. I was just taking pictures.
So Ryan, you and I were the 2 that heard it.
Yeah.
And Shelley was kind of walking ahead, introducing herself.
You know what? They growled at you because you moved that damn casket. See, they waited till I went by. See, I didn't even hear it. See, they're like, we ain't gonna scare Shelley. We like her. She knew she was mad at me for messing with us. Like, we're waiting to go by. Arr. I mean, they were waiting for y'all. That's what it was. They were mad at you. That's why y'all didn't get nothing up there.
I mean, it stopped us both in our tracks because
It did.
we both
Hear it.
audibly heard like that, and I was like, hold on a sec.
When you actually go back and listen to it though, and you have volume way up and you have your headphones on and stuff like that, it actually, comes across as it has a slight groan in the beginning, and it's very faint.
That's because they're like, damn, these 2 guys are back. What are we going to move now?
But see, and that is why I feel like it's so important that we have multiple pieces of equipment capturing the moment, because there was a moment whenever I thought I heard it inhale first and then groan and exhale at the same time. But then I watched the video and you can see Shelley, you bump the wall and you scrape it with your jacket, and you had kind of like I don't want to
It was a vinyl. It was a windbreaker material.
Like a windbreaker material. So it made that dragging noise.
Vinyl.
You wearing vinyl on investigations?
You know what? I know about as much about fashion as I do about technology, which is basically nothing. I know about ghosts.
And luckily, you said towards the camera, because you were garbled in the EVP or in the recording, and you say, "That was me. I hit the wall."
Yeah, I did.
And so I went.
So I was calling
okay.
it. I was acknowledging it. Yeah.
And so okay, cool. So on the audio, I was able to take out that because what I thought was an inhale, because that was you scraping the wall. So. And then, but still, that one where it just goes, me and Ryan heard it, and it stopped us.
Yeah.
To the end of the track. Yeah. And we'll post that EVP up on our Facebook page tomorrow, so you can come back and you can listen to it on a loop over and over, so you can catch that groan and that exhale. Freaking crazy.
Yeah.
It was my first time hearing an audible disembodied exhale. I know it wasn't y'all's 2. I know it wasn't the 2 of y'all's, but that's for another episode.
That's another episode.
Yeah.
That was mine. And wow, yeah. When you said, "Oh man, I got goosebumps," yeah, I was chilled because it sounded like, to me, honestly, it sounded like, because that recorder was sat on top of that coffin. Sounded like it came out of the coffin from the recorder's point of view.
Told y'all she was mad at you.
It may have. She was like, "Oh, here's these assholes again."
And you know what's funny? When we first went up there, y'all opened up the door and I went charging up those stairs. I wasn't even waiting for y'all. And I went straight to that car and I'm like, we came back to say hello. I'm like, I'm thinking, I'm so sorry. What did they do to you? I'm here now. I won't let them bother you anymore.
To be fair though, when we did move the coffin, we were just like, "Hey, we're really sorry. We're trying to be respectful. I'm sorry. We don't mean to move you around, but
y'all,
touch it."
I tell y'all now, that's on camera of us originally moving the coffin. We will be posting that at some point because that is the funniest shit. I mean, we are literally carrying this coffin like, we're so sorry. Don't mean to be disrespectful. We're so sorry. Oh my God.
And then they come downstairs and I get mad at them.
Yeah.
Like, what'd you do that?
Yeah. So we go around and we take a couple of pictures on stuff, walking through some of the storage rooms and whatnot. And then Shelly decides this is where she wants to do her S's.
This is where I wanted to do it all night. I didn't even want to do it anywhere else.
So a couple of things stick out to me in this whenever we were rewatching. Really, two moments that led to probably the best and funniest moment of the night. But anyways,
yeah,
this is the first one. Now I want y'all to view, and y'all even tell us in the comments.
I've never seen this, by the way.
I was gonna say, y'all tell us in the comments. Pushed, pulled, or did she get dizzy?
Is there something you're trying to tell us?
Whoa. Okay, don't fucking do that.
Do not touch Shelly.
One more time. Push, pulled, or dizzy?
Is there something you're trying to tell us?
Whoa. Okay, don't fucking do that.
Do not touch Shelly.
I'm going to tell you right now that in that moment, I don't know if I felt it, but I can tell you, I did kind of start to feel a little dizzy, but I wasn't sure if I was dizzy and I lost my balance or if I was pulled back or if I got pushed. I could not tell.
Yeah.
But I knew that I moved in a way I shouldn't have moved. And you see me, I'm sitting, cross-legged on the floor like this. This is not going to be a natural movement for me. My natural movement when I'm doing yes, this is just like this. And I listen and if I'm kind of like, no, yes, and I keep those headphones and this is not the way I generally go. So I don't know.
My perspective from where I was seeing it, you got pushed. That's my perspective. It looked like something came up to you and just went.
Yeah, tipped you backwards.
Real quick, and it caused you to go, whoa.
And that's why I sit on the floor. Not for a fall.
But yeah, I mean, to me, it just looked like something just hit you all of a sudden.
And I'll start fighting back. Don't do that. Like, don't touch it. Don't do that.
And the reason I say that, and I know you were like, you can show this, you can't, but whatnot. But what did you have appear the next day? But a bruise.
A bruise. And
on your underarm.
I think it's still there. I'm not even sure. Yeah, it's still there. Oops, this way. Still right here on my arm. It's right there. And that was not there. It's almost like in that area where if somebody was like to grab your arm, that's where their thumb would be right there. So if I were to grab my arm, there it is. That's where the bruise would be.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So I think he got pushed. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think he got pushed.
Yeah, so, something moved you. Yeah.
Something did move me because I didn't move myself on that.
We did get one pulled. Everybody else says pushed as well. So, but then comes the climax of, well, not really the climax of the night, the hilarity of the night.
The funniest damn part of the evening is actually, and Ryan, again, you have a very interesting theory on this, but shall we play this before we tell what happened, or shall we tell Brian's theory?
Oh no, let's go ahead and play it because I'm just going to run them back to back to back. Then we can tell the story. So here we go.
It just said, look at the time. It just said 30 minutes.
30 minutes for what?
Oh yeah, we did
that. I'm sorry. I find it hilarious.
So what had happened? What you're not seeing is that we had finished up the Estes method. Oh, there was one part that Blake you didn't put in there, which actually it doesn't really matter. They'd ask for a name, and I got Brad, and then it was like, call me Bill. The assistant called me Bill.
Yeah, well, but the whole video is on our YouTube channel for that.
Yeah.
And so we had gone downstairs because I had actually tapped out of the Estes method because I got a voice I didn't like. Mm-hmm. And it started coming through, and I didn't hear static anymore. I could just hear this voice, and I tapped out. I'm like, I don't want to talk to him anymore. I'm out. Let's go. And we went out, and we were actually standing downstairs, and we were like, what was that? I'm like, I don't know what that was. I'm like, that, I'm feeling weird. Let's just stay out here for a minute. And then we hear the beep, 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 beep of the alarm. And we're going, damn, there's an alarm going off. Wonder where that's coming from. Ryan's like, oh no, it's down that alley. We don't got to. I'm like, yeah, but is that us? We're like, it's not. Cops will be showing up if that was us.
Yeah. Yeah, yo, we literally like walked halfway down the alley a little bit, kind of looked, and we're like, no, that's further on down. Let's continue with our break and chill out, all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, Stacy, Gypsy, and Paula are all left inside, and they're like, the alarm's going off. The alarm's going off.
And they're hauling us up to the front.
The phones are ringing. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to call the director of the museum and be like, we got an issue here.
And we're thinking, how did we do that?
Yeah.
Because some of those cases are motion sensitive where you cannot put in, you can't touch them. Don't touch them. And we were very cognizant, and very aware of that. And we didn't.
No.
And we didn't. And we're like, we're glad it was us outside. Stacy, Gypsy, and Paula. That's their fault.
So,
but it actually wasn't.
The funnier part of this is that I make a phone call to the director. We get it all taken care of and all that stuff. And the interesting portion, when Shelly says, wait 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And she says, look at the time. Well, when I looked at the time, it was 11:44 because I did look at, because I'm filming, and I looked at the clock and it said 11:44. And we're outside there. The alarm's off. We got it all taken care of. We're solved. We're good. But we're standing outside because I just had this feeling that it wasn't done. And all of a sudden,
at 11:14.
At 12:14.
Oh, excuse me, at 12:14.
Yeah, at 12:14. Longview's finest come
pulling
around up.
30 minutes later, on the dot.
Woo, woo.
30 minutes.
Like we robbing a bank, literally. Whip it in, and we're standing out there, and they get out, and I'm like, hi, y'all. Guess what?
It's us.
It's all fine.
The ghost hunters.
We're like, somebody should have called y'all, let you know we were here. And they come walking up, and they're like, well, we had a call that y'all were here, but if the alarm goes off, we got to go off. And there was this one cop, and he had that new cop smell. He was fresh out of the academy, had that new cop smell. And he goes, is there a ghost in there? And I said, you want to see? And I tapped up the video of the door opening, and he went, nope. And I said, y'all want to come in? Y'all want to come in and just make sure everything's okay? And they're like, no, we're good. Y'all go in there. We're like, no. And I said, oh, come in. We can show you the equipment and stuff. They're like, no, we're not coming in. I'm like, really? I said, what would you do if the alarm went off and nobody was here? He says, I'd call the director and tell him to come check her building. So the law showed up. But we were real friendly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
And I believe his comment was, people that are breaking in don't usually hang around until the cops show up.
Yeah.
That is what he said.
Yeah.
But we must look like idiots. They get out, we're all like, hi, y'all. It's just us. Don't shoot. My God.
It was hilarious. That was the best part. So after this alarm goes off, of course, all of our adrenaline is pumping. And Paula, again, has a video that I didn't get in time, and I wish I would have.
I'm actually kind of glad you didn't, because I believe everybody's ass is in the air at some point, literally.
So we go back inside, and we all lay out on the floor, and we did a Facebook Live on the EVP page. You can go back and watch with me, Shelly, and Ryan being idiots and laying on the floor. We all decided that
the adrenaline was so high. Our adrenaline was like, it was like, I don't even know what you could have given me. That just massive rocket fuel.
Yeah, we're shaking like leaves on trees. We were just like, oh my God, y'all! I can't believe we set the alarm off.
So we decide it's yoga time, and we start flipping our legs over our head and stretching and all this. Yeah, Paula, you're gonna have to get us that video, because I'm sorry, Shelly, Ryan, but I'm
$5 if you lose that thing.
I got a bottle of Fireball if you send it to me.
See, now that's the bribe for me, not for Paula.
All right, tequila, vodka, whatever you want, Paula. I got
whatever you fancy.
So,
Paula, I'm your friend.
So, anyways, now that the hilarity was over and had ensued, and we had recollected ourselves, we got back to investigating. And one of the first things that we really wanted to do was get right back into an Estes method. And
Mhm.
Paula wanted to do one, and she decided that she was going to do it at the bank vault. And so that's where we had gone. And again, the similarities of it, I'm going to roll a couple and show a picture real quick. So this is what happened with Paula.
Okay.
I think you lost it.
I believe it's this.
Did she just get touched again?
I don't know.
Please don't touch Paula. Please don't do that to her.
That was me.
Sorry, Shelley, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, I was saying, I think that's the same arm, isn't it? That
Yep.
one?
It's because I think that you really got okay. Our
I know, we're back.
Our cameras are mirrored. So
Yeah.
see, it looks like I'm touching my left, but I'm really touching my right. It looks like both of you were touched on the right shoulder.
Mhm.
And the weirder part of it was when she got home, she sent us a picture, and this was the picture she sent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something grabbed the
That almost
fire
looks
out
like
of her.
a bite to me, but
Yeah.
it's got a lot of bruising around it. But that is incredibly straight. I mean, that's really straight. I mean, mine looks more like a thumb bruise or an imprint bruise. That almost looks like she got stuck with some kind of something that imprinted her.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all like around her that night. She didn't run into things. She never hit her arm on anything.
No.
The only thing that we can really set it back to was the 2 times that she went like this in her Estes method. I don't know. It's just really weird to me.
And I believe she said she was touched those 2 times too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I believe that's what she said.
Yeah, she did confirm that she was touched those 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, hold on. Let's see here. She's commenting. She says, I thought y'all were pulling me out, but then I have a bruise on the front of my shoulder. So she's got another bruise on the front of her shoulder.
We didn't see that one.
Yeah, she didn't send us
Yeah,
that
actually,
one.
I do remember her saying that she thought we were tapping her out, that we were pulling her from the experiment. Because right before that, she kind of leaned forward, and I whoever was in there, I said, "Is she okay?" Because she kind of seemed like she was in distress for a second. She kind of leaned forward, and then she sat back up, and then she got to this. Oh, that was above my head, too close to the wall.
That was not a bang. That was Shelley
that was my head.
Trying to knock herself out.
Debunked. Some don't want me talking about the Schultz conspiracy. Yeah, I got to quit being so what's the word? Animated. Anyway, I'll work on that.
No, you're fun when you're animated.
Yeah.
So yeah, she did say that she felt like we were pulling her out, but that wasn't. I mean, now right before that, we did look and contemplate it because she did look like she was a bit in distress, but she straightened back up, and that's when she got touched.
Yeah, she did for a second. Like her breathing changed, kind of sporadic there for a second, and we got a little bit nervous. But
and trust me,
she
since
took like
Manor,
2 or 3 shallow breaths, if I remember right. She was like,
yeah,
and that's what kind of tipped us off. Like something's wrong. We need to get her out.
But then she leveled back out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and she was okay. So this was an interesting question. Now I tapped out of my Estes method, and it was 8 minutes and something seconds. We pulled Paula right at 8 minutes and something seconds, didn't we? Or was that your Estes method that was done at 8 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So one of those has a very similar time frame on it.
Yeah. So, and again, now I'll preface this next portion because to me personally, I'm sure for the group, this is probably the most powerful showcase that they gave that night, this next portion of the night. And it was a very personal experience for me. Now, if y'all did watch the episode last week
on Hill Manor,
we had Keith Abrams on and Stacey Ortiz on. Keith Abrams, we're not going to relive his whole experience. Y'all can go back and watch that. But he got jumped, and he
pretty
was
badly,
very badly. And it was a massive struggle to forcibly remove him from the house. And he was the second one to go in the line after getting very intense,
relevant, active responses.
And so I decide in the bank vault, same spot, right where Paula's sitting, after she's been touched, after she's giving great responses. I mean, she even says the name of the father of the Dalton gang. that's his pictures on the wall behind Shelley at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to jump into the Estes method. And I experienced something that I had never experienced before. So I'm going to show one short little clip of how powerful it was. Now remember, Stacey Ortiz is...
Let's go ahead and give the disturbing content warning.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. So just disturbing content warning. What you are about to see, I do believe is, we call it me being jumped. If you want to say that I was overtaken or whatever you put on that level, then that's your wording. But what you're going to see in the next couple of clips is it's kind of rough. And it's a little hard for me to watch, but we're going to play it anyways. But this is about where it started going south.
That's the way that works.
Get the minister. That is exactly what they just said.
Stacey,
Get
trade
the
out.
minister.
We're gonna let Stacey trade out stuff.
All right, Stacey's coming in.
And he was adamant. And he was crystal clear. And he said, get the minister. So she switches out. She starts asking me all these questions. The feelings that I was getting, because I didn't really put any of these in, because the next one I'm going to show, it's rather long, but it is one of those that needs to be shown in its full entirety.
Now you said the way he said "get the minister." Did he seem like he was being aggressive, or like he was like distressed, like, "Hey, I need a minister like right now"?
Or it was firm and demanding.
It was very firm and very demanding,
but not aggressive. Just I get the minister now.
Get the minister. It could have been for anything, you know. And then the things that I was saying after that was, will it follow me? Can I be saved, or something along that lines? And I felt like he was attempting to try and be remorseful without actually being remorseful. I think he was worried about where his soul was at and where he could go, rather than actually feeling sorry and apologizing for, what he actually
whatever he had done. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it also came out of a bout of desperation as well. So I'm going to play this next clip, and this is where it gets rough. This is your disturbing content warning. If you are comfortable with that sort of thing, this is where you can kind of look away.
Yo, I've got hands on my chest. I'm not kidding. I've got 2 hands on my chest.
Stacey, help me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. When I remove my hand, you're no longer allowed to use Blake as a conduit. You must leave him. You're not allowed to use him to communicate through in any way, shape, form, or fashion. You don't have Mike's permission. You don't have the group's permission. And you don't have Blake's permission. And once we all say agreed, then the circle is closed. It's a group agreed.
Agreed.
Agreed. The circle is now closed. You feeling okay? Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Okay, good then.
Dizzy.
Yeah.
Dizzy.
Okay, good. Okay, take a breath. Take a breath. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe deep. Breathe deep. Blake, you have to make, you're not allowed to be part of Blake's life. It doesn't work. You have to come off Blake. You're welcome to come off the Blake. You're welcome to come to me. You don't have his permission. You have to leave him right now.
Gypsy.
You have to leave him right now.
Gypsy.
You have to
Get
leave
the
him.
holy water from the bed.
You have to leave Blake. You're not allowed to be here. You're not allowed to be here. You're not allowed to have any touch. You have no control over him. You have no power over him. You have to step away from Blake. You have to step off Blake. You have to step away. You have to get off of Blake.
Get off of him.
I need for you to step away from Blake. You do not have permission. You do not have any
Get off of
power
him.
over him.
Get off of him.
Power over him. Every time he breathes, he's throwing you out. Every
Yes.
breath, he's expelling you. Every time he breathes, you are done. He's throwing you away. He's throwing you away. You have to come off Blake.
It's in the orange bag.
It's in an orange bag.
You have to leave Blake. You do not have permission to be here.
Can you get it?
Look in my bag too. There's some right there. You have no power over Blake. You have no power over him. You do not have control. You do not have permission.
Breathe out, Blake.
You cannot harm him.
Deep breath.
He's stronger than you are.
Deep breath.
We're stronger than you are. You do not have permission. You have to come off of him right now. You have to step away from Blake. step away from the light. You have to leave the light. You're not able to be. That K2 meter's spiking, by the way. It was spiking. You have to step away from the light, please. You're
That's
not
all the
having
light in the bed.
Oh, good. We got some open eyes. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Throw that away. Throw that energy off of you. Throw that energy off of you. You cannot conquer him. You have no power over him. You have no power over him. You have no power over him at all. You have to step away from him. You open up your eyes. I want you to open your eyes, okay? I want you to keep your eyes open. You got this.
Yep.
You got this. You got this.
Ooh.
Just deep breaths.
Jesus Christ. Cold.
Deep breaths. Deep breaths. You got this. I like the fact your eyes are open. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Take deep breaths every time you breathe out. Push him out. Push him out. Feel male or female?
With the male.
That's okay. That's what I was thinking too.
Does it feel like these emotions are female? She hit me like a ton of bricks.
You need to come off the plate. You're welcome to come to me. Welcome to come to me.
Blake, can you get up?
Yeah, I can get up.
You need me, you need me to help you
Come
up?
here. Come here, Ryan. Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'm cutting this.
Ready? Yeah, but no. Here, yeah, straight me.
Okay.
Okay, you need to go outside.
Come on.
Yep. Yeah, keep your hand on him, Ryan. Keep your hand on him, Ryan.
Wow.
Boy, it seemed like a lot longer than that in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really did. But come to find out, it was only like, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes long for that whole thing.
Well, can you tell us what you were feeling right before that happened?
So I'm in there. We're getting towards the end of the Estes, and that guy is talking to Stacy, and I'm kind of like leaned down, and I lean up, and the reason why I lean up is because all of a sudden I felt 2 hands just lay themselves on my chest,
Mm-hmm.
and I took a deep breath in, and as I raised up, they got heavier. And that's when I said, I've got hands on my chest.
And that's when we jumped in to pull you. I put my hand on you and I go, Stacy, come help me.
Yeah. And so as soon as y'all close down and I go to ripping, or as soon as y'all put your hands on shut, I go to ripping things off, all that stuff, throw it off. Y'all close it down. And it's like, I looked up and I was like trying to grab for you at the same time. Stacy was like,
Oh, you
going
grabbed the
this
hold
way.
of my arm. That's
Yeah.
that's why I ended up going down, because you were like pulling down on my arm, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get it. But I was trying to make everything very slow,
Yeah.
very,
And
nothing was rushed.
all I remember of it, really, I mean, I remember the entirety of it. I don't want y'all to think that I blacked out. I did not black out at any point. I do remember all of it, but the strongest and most memorable portions of it was right before I said, y'all, I'm dizzy, and went down like that. It's almost like I could see a wave of emotion that was coming. And it just hit me, and I just went down like that. And I didn't know what I was grabbing on to, but I felt Stacy grab me here, and I felt her leg here. So I just bear hugged her. That was it. So I've got a bear hug on her leg, and I grabbed your arm.
Yeah,
And
you had my forearm, right up in the front, and I had a hold of you the other way like that.
Yeah, and if you watched last week's episode, that's the difference. That's the difference, because I did state this, and no disregard or negativity towards anybody that was involved with last week's, but that is difference between somebody who has done the SS method multiple times versus somebody who's done it for the very first time, like last week.
You know when things don't feel right. You're aware of it immediately.
And so I wrap my arm around Stacy's leg. I lean into her, because in my head it registered ordained minister.
That's right.
Ordained minister. If I can put every piece of flesh onto her that I possibly can, that's the way I'm leaning. I've got this one over here, which is Shelly. She's very smart and knows what she's doing as well. And I was thinking all of this very fast, but immediately went into in my head, just over and over saying, get off me, 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 and let y'all's do your thing. And I think that that's what helped it calm quicker and did not explode into something where it would have caused me to be forcefully removed. from the location. So now I did, for those, the video does continue. It is up on our YouTube channel. I do make it out of the building. I do make it onto a grassy medium where I'm grounded and all of that stuff and taken care of.
A question. I do have a question. When I remember when you were coming out and in the video, you said, I know the male was talking mostly, but then you said the emotions were female. Do you feel like it was the male that had his hands pressed on you and maybe the female had stepped in? Or what do you think was all about?
It was the male that had his hands on my chest. I knew that because they were very large. I mean, they took up most of, if not all of my chest. It would not have been, and the way that they were pressing, it just
too much force.
Yes, and on top of that, the energy it was giving off was very masculine. But the emotions that came through were feminine.
Okay.
And when they hit me, it's almost, I want to say that it makes me wonder about the frantic woman that I heard earlier in the night, because that's the first thing after rewatching it that I thought of. I was like, oh shit, I heard a frantic woman who was screaming at me. Just completely screaming. And I can kind of see where those would be, like somebody in a panic, somebody frantic that she just made me start uncontrollably crying.
Do you think that she saw her opportunity maybe because he was getting your attention and maybe she was like, well, I'm going to get his attention any way I can? Do you think maybe that's what happened? Because I'm just wondering why all of a sudden, you know, after you had some, like you said, you felt a male energy and you had them the hands on your chest, while all of a sudden like a female energy came in. That's what's.
She could have. I didn't really read that or not, but
yeah. I
could see where if she was trying to do that, where it's like the right opportune moment, because I say I have hands on my chest. And she may have been like waiting a turn to try and talk to me or something like that. Yeah. And all of a sudden we're closing a circle down. She's like, oh shit, here I go.
Yeah.
You know.
I have a theory.
Okay.
So let's back up just a little bit.
Okay.
So when I was upstairs to Estes Method, I got a male voice. And what he says was, tell them I killed her. And I say out loud, I'm not going to say that. I hear nothing. All the static goes away. I hear, did you hear what I said? And I don't repeat it. It says, tell them what I said. I didn't repeat it. And then it screamed at me, tell them what I said. And I tapped out. It's interesting. So when we got to the vault, who did you say want to lead your Estes Method? You said, Shelley, you lead.
Yeah.
I didn't volunteer. Before you asked for the minister, you said, Shelley.
Shelley. Yep.
Get the minister.
Yep.
So I traded with Stacy. And do you happen to think that potentially this female energy you were feeling, a male on it, why did he want me to tell you what he said? I killed her. I think you were feeling her emotions as he was killing her. Just a theory.
Whew. That didn't even cross my mind.
Just a theory. Because he was adamant for me to tell you that. And I wouldn't repeat him because I didn't even hear the static when he said it. All I heard was his voice, and I started feeling very strange. And whenever you don't hear the static and you're hearing a voice like I'm hearing your voice right now, that's freaky, and that's when I tapped out.
Yeah.
Do you think you were feeling her emotions as she died? Because you were saying you were getting the male force, but you had all female emotions. Do you think he was killing her? And you were basically a witness to her emotions.
She was frantic. It was, yes, she was crying.
Somebody trying to kill me, I'd be crying and frantic too.
But it felt very panicked, very frantic.
I'd be panicked too.
Very sad at the same time. So, wow,
and I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, given if people, like I said, people need to go and watch like the Estes Methods when we post them on the Facebook page or the YouTube page. I mean, but I think it makes perfect sense because what he was asking before you felt that, like you were saying, he was asking, will it follow? Like he was asking for a minister. He was asking, will it follow me? Will God protect me? And these are all things that we got in this Estes Method. So, I mean, it sounds like he was looking for absolution.
And if you remember when I told you about what I heard, I said, it sounded almost like he was confessing. And I was not going to give him any power to confess because it's almost like he wanted to confess. And those are the words I used.
Yeah.
So it was interesting that whoever came to talk to you asked for a minister. Because I told you that he sounded like he was wanting to confess, and I thought he was going to confess something about the child, and I knew that would make me angry and that would feed him. But I didn't want to feed him at all. I wanted to get away from him.
And that's what, like, I would advise, if anybody who's watching this doesn't have, it can handle that kind of disturbing content, because I understand it's disturbing for some people. If you can handle that type of disturbing content, I implore you to go watch that video. It is on our YouTube channel. Watch the whole thing all the way through, because some of the things that I do say is like Shelly was saying, Ryan, where you were talking, I do say the words, I'm notorious, with the pause.
You do.
And then I say, in this town.
You do. Absolutely.
And after I ask for the minister, I also say, where's the sermon? So there were things after I asked for the minister that were just over and over very relevant,
very religious,
and very religious context.
Yeah.
Yes. So Shelly, you might have a really good point that it could have been me being, because I did go from down like this to back like this, like he would have been pushing.
And you got hit with the female's emotions.
And I got
she was
hit
feeling
with
what was
her
happening.
emotions. Wow. That's, now I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it myself, and just see. So,
and again, after I did my assessment, I told you guys I felt like this dude was trying to confess, and I didn't want to hear what he had to say because I was not his. And I believe I said I'm not his priest. I'm not his confessor.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear what he had to say. I felt like he was trying to manipulate me, and I tapped out. And another little interesting theory: the 3 people who they seem to want to talk to, and the person who got injured the most, I mean, other than you, Blake, we all got these little protection bracelets from Paula. And all of them, all the spirits in that room, Paula gave all 3 of us one. We all 3 wore them. Blake got jumped. I had to tap out of an Estes method, and something in the common room was insistent on talking to Ryan. And who got the freaking brand mark, like, stamped on her? Like, gee, that was Paula. Paula was physically injured.
and she's the one
For
who
trying
gave-
to take
who gave
care
it
of
to
us.
Interesting.
Interesting theory. I bet Paula don't bring us no more presents, huh? Please bring, but just
No,
bring it for me.
I like the presents, Paula.
Please keep bringing your presents. We love them.
I'll keep wearing it because I ain't scared.
I'm like, I got mine on right now.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, I have mine.
That's right.
So the only other thing that I have to show y'all that has to do with that case and me getting jumped. Now, I had called y'all or text y'all or something. I don't really remember. And I had told y'all this is days after the investigation now. And I had forgotten to turn off my trail camera. And
Okay, this flipped me out.
Yeah. And so there's, all these photos and videos of me packing it away and me getting home and then blah, 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 blah. And so it comes to the day after the investigation on Sunday, everybody leaves and I pull out my trail camera and I set it down on my desk face up. So the camera's facing towards the ceiling. And I trigger it to go off. And this is what I hear. One more time. Yeah. I hear, and I'll tell y'all what I hear, and then I'll play it again. I hear a little girl laugh. Yes, there is a TV on in the background, but the volume of the laugh versus the volume of the TV is different. The TV's lower, the laugh is higher. And then I hear a gentleman whisper, and one of our viewers got it.
Wow.
I'm behind you.
Yep.
So I'll play
it. She got it.
I'll play it one more time. And you hear me exhale at the end. That's me exhaling. So the voice that's saying I'm behind you in the exhale, 2 different voices, 2 different frequencies, 2 different pitches and tones.
And 2 different distances from the microphone.
Exactly.
That I'm behind you. That is up on that mic.
Yeah.
That I'm behind you. Way different right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very close. And and you know what? What? Just out of curiosity, was there anybody behind you? Was there anyone behind you?
No.
Not physically.
No, not physically. Yeah, not physically.
I'm just checking.
Yeah.
I'm like, and Gypsy's asking if I brought my equipment into my house again. Yes, of course. I have to download all this stuff off the equipment
I would
onto my
suggest
computer.
that if you
Sure.
have to do that, you bring it in one piece at a time and immediately take it
That's
out.
a good idea.
Or sage it before you bring it in, and then you can bring it in.
Hell, that or
Yeah.
sit on your patio. We live in Texas. It's warm most of the year.
That's right.
That's very true. I'm gonna start doing evidence review in the fucking garage.
I mean, you know, no, because that's technically still inside your house on the patio. Ryan's up for, Ryan's got onto something here because you got a laptop. You just set it out there. I mean, it takes 4 hours to upload anything anyway. So why
That's
not?
very true. Why not?
Difference is your office, your patio. What's the difference?
Yeah.
I would suggest you wouldn't bring it all in at once.
Yeah.
The only thing that came in my house after the investigation was me and my bracelets. So.
Yeah. But so I just want to hear your final thoughts on this place that's we are just so lucky to be able to get into. Again, thank you so much to
Absolutely.
Lindsay at the museum and the Historical Society and all of those who allowed us to be able to come in and do what we did. But let's start, Ryan. What do you got?
Man, I would say that it's pretty damn haunted. I mean, based on everything we caught. I have never, I've had doors close on me on investigations. I've seen doors close, but like never catching something like that on camera, on command with 6, 7 people standing around looking at the same time, because that stuff usually happens when there's like 1 or 2 or 1 by themselves,
6 witnesses.
Yeah, six witnesses all at once. I mean, footsteps. I mean, that audible exhale. I mean, this place was extremely active. I wasn't expecting that, and I was pleasantly surprised, and I cannot wait to get back in there.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Shelley, what are your thoughts on it?
Haunted.
Just boop, stamp that son bitch right there.
I'll stamp it.
I will too. Yeah.
And I will stamp it, and I will stamp it with the gleeful and joyful looking forward to a return trip back. And I hope it doesn't let me down, because we all know that energy levels in places rise and fall, and what you get one time, you may not get another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But being that going back, they might remember us, and perhaps a few of them will be a bit nicer to us. But I hope that they still want to interact with us. I'm really interested in seeing what comes next.
I honestly have a feeling before Blake, we wrap it up. I think that now that they are familiar with us and they're familiar with our equipment, I think they'll be even more willing to communicate when we go back. I just have that feeling.
Yeah, I kind of have.
We'll sit in a big old knock-taw and talk about it.
That's true. Yeah. So I have the same feeling, Ryan. My final thoughts on it are, I am with Shelley. I would stamp it certifiably haunted for sure. Things that cannot explain, cannot debunked. I would definitely, in my opinion, personally, 1 to 5 scale, I put it at a very low 4.
I put it at a solid 3 with the potential to be a 3.5.
Yeah, I put it at a very low 4.
Well, I guess I'm the tiebreaker, huh?
You know what he's going to do?
3.75.
He's going to say 3.5. Yeah.
You know what? Just because of because we got so much on command, and it was willing to talk, I go with a 4. I go with a low 4. I'm with that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Well, what? No, what?
No.
What?
No.
We'll
I should say it'll show you 4 next time.
Yeah.
Be careful what you ask for.
Very true.
Hey.
So, and we got a little bit of things up our sleeve with that, but we're not ready to let out the details just yet. We got a little thing coming.
We got a little
at
something
this
in the works.
location. So, y'all stay tuned on that. But y'all, thank y'all so much for joining us for episode 5 of Gregg County Historical Museum in Longview, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Blake Smith for my friends Ryan Roberts and Shelley Pruitt. We thank y'all so much for joining us, and we will see y'all next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Y'all,
and happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
And I think
Blake just froze.
I think Blake just froze too.
The ghost god